Hello, True Duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report. Part 2 for this week, opening with the gun, because I didn't use it at all in the previous New Card Report. And I don't make jokes, I just put on a suit and hold a gun. So, I'm staying true to my form. You all know, I need my gun. Yes, welcome to the New Card Report, the video I sometimes make when there are too many cards for the regular update. And apparently this week, that I sometimes make twice. That's just twice the content, baby. Yeah, there's been plenty of new cards from Cyberstorm Access this week, and this time we're taking a look at the SuperHeavy Samurai support. Yeah, SuperHeavy Samurai got a bunch of support in Cyberstorm Access, much to my dismay. Because they're my favorite deck to insult when looking for a generically, universally, underwhelming deck. No disrespect to SuperHeavy Samurai players. By all means, enjoy the deck that you play. I just can't be bothered to play a deck that actively wants me to not play 2/3 of the cards in the game, and also ends on a defense position machine that lost to Castell half the time I saw it played. So Duck says I'll pass. No thank you. Still, that might change. With Cyberstorm Access giving them 7 new cards, and surely 7 new cards can do something, right? The first of their new support from this set is SuperHeavy Samurai BIKE. That is a Vehicroid tier card looking ass and name, but is it Vehicroid tier support? Well, it is a level 2 tuner that can target a monster you control and reduce its level by 2. Wow! That isn't why you'll play it, though. If anything, it's a cute way to have some flex in your levels, but no, the reason you'll play it is because as long as your grave has no spell or traps, you can discard this card to add any SuperHeavy Samurai monster from deck to hand. It's not Rhoda, it's more Nekroz Abrianak, but it's for SuperHeavy Samurai, so any deck could use an extra copy of Rhoda, and that makes this solid, surely. I guess that means it's a strong start to the support, and it's not Vehicroid tier. Or at least this fucking card ain't. SuperHeavy Samurai Spy is a level 1 non-tuner, and it can summon itself from your hand for free once per turn. And you contribute it on field to target a spell or trap in the opponent's grave, and then set it to your field. But it will be banished when it leaves the field. Both of these effects will require the SuperHeavy Sad effect staple of not playing 2/3 of the cards in the game, and that's really what I'm going to use to refer to that as. Instead of saying having no spell or traps in your graveyard for the rest of this video, I will say that it requires the SuperHeavy Sad. I think that's fair. As for this card in particular, it's neat. It would be funny to say steal a triple tactics talents from the opponent and then use it against them. Almost as funny as the fact that you can't play triple tactic talents yourself if you're playing this deck. SuperHeavy Samurai Soul Gaia booster is a new level 4 that can target a SuperHeavy Samurai you control and equip itself to that monster from your hand or your fields to make it a tuner. And if you've got the SuperHeavy Sad going on, you can special summon it while it's equipped, but only if it's been equipped from its own effect. Can't have it be too strong, I guess. You probably could, it's SuperHeavy Samurai. I guess it's decent spam for Link or Synchro climbing. And I don't know, I guess I won't say that it's bad, but it doesn't seem phenomenally good. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't play this deck. SuperHeavy Samurai Prodigy Wakashi? Yes. Is my favorite type of card to report on, a pendulum monster. It's also the only way this deck can play spells, so it's probably needed and justified. We're giving it a pass. This is a level 4 monster with a scale of 8, and its pendulum effect is that if you've got the SuperHeavy Sad, you can place a SuperHeavy Samurai pendulum monster from your deck, not named Prodigy Wakashi, into your other pendulum scale, and then summon this. That's good. And definitely has the potential to be abused in this deck and even outside of it as a generic pendulum tool. We just need one of the other scales to just be decent. One other decent SuperHeavy Samurai scale, and this is playable. No locks or anything to that effect. Wow. I'm impressed. Its monster effect will let you discard a card to summon a SuperHeavy Samurai from your deck in defense position, but will lock you into SuperHeavy Samurais for the turn. It also requires the SuperHeavy Sad, of course, and if it is sent from the extra deck from being used as a synchro material, it'll place itself back in the pendulum scale. What the fuck? That is a generic scale 8 that can replace itself and rescale itself. I think this might be one of the best cards of the batch in like the entire set, broadly speaking. Maybe a bold claim, but that's a really fucking good card. And for Super Heavy Samurai of all things. Praise Xenu, a good Super Heavy Samurai card. I'm impressed. Monk Warrior Big Benkai is a level 8 pendulum with a scale of 1, and could possibly be the decent counterpart to the Prodigy himself. This guy's pendulum effect is that if you control a Super Heavy Samurai, you can add a Super Heavy Samurai Soul card from your deck to your hand, which if I'm not mistaken refers to all the monsters that double as equip spells, or I just lied to your face. We'll find out in the comments. So, we've got our generic 1 to 8 scales. I can dig that. The monster effect is that if you ever were to summon it, if you've got the Super Heavy SAD, you can send a copy of the original Super Heavy Big Benkai from your deck or hand to the graveyard in order to summon this, and then it has the same effect of scaling itself if you use it for a Synchro summon. Does this turn a former boss monster into a soft garnet of sorts? That's kind of funny if it does. Regardless, it can summon itself by playing a garnet generically, or maybe even with ease in its native deck. Matter of fact, this, Prodigy, and even just Soul Gaia can be used for a quick link to by themselves, turn 1, even just generically. You can use Prodigy to summon itself and then scale this, and then use this to search out Soul Gaia, which can then equip itself to Prodigy, summon itself, and you've got a link right there, or a Synchro 6 even. That's 1 to 8 scales on top of all of that. That is a solid way to start a turn. Wow. And all with Super Heavy Samurai cards. I am shocked. I am downright astounded. Super Heavy Samurai Overlord Masaru is probably not how you pronounce that, and it's the level 12 Synchro. It's got 2100 attack and big 4K booty, so he lives up to the name Super Heavy, I'll tell you that much. It just needs any tuner and any one or more non-tuners as material, and like all Super Heavy Synchros, it can attack in defense using its defense for damage calculation. It also lets you destroy another Super Heavy Samurai card you control if a Super Heavy Samurai monster would be destroyed, so you can maybe pop a scale to save a monster. And if your opponent activates a spell or trap card, once per turn it'll let you draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. If Super Heavy Samurai is the type of deck to run out of hand size real quick, that is a very welcome effect. Might be underwhelming otherwise if they've already got decent hand control, but draw it until you have 3 can definitely be playable, I tell you what. The last piece of support revealed thus far is a level 8 scale 1 Pendulum Synchro monster. Oh boy. Its pendulum effect is that if you are attacked with this card in your scale, it can summon itself, and then if you've got the Super Heavy SAD, you can have the attacking monster's attack go to 0 and negate its effects. Cool. The monster effect lets it attack in defense, of course, with its righteous 2500 defense, and during the battle phase, if it's Synchro summoned, can quick effect target a Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard or face-up spell and trap zone to summon that monster, and then it'll place itself back in the pendulum scale. So just kind of hot swaps and body blocks. That's neat, I guess. And it can bring back a fallen bigger Synchro that the opponent's already gotten rid of. Yeah, no, it seems all right to me. Nothing impressive, but nothing terrible. I've been wrong before though, so we'll find out. My take on all of these? That new pendulum is kind of really fucking dummy, actually. And the deck's instant access to a full scale is the type of thing to make a deck go a lot more playable. Those words, that order. It definitely won't make them broken by any means, I can't imagine. And if they get higher than Rogue, I'll be very surprised. But it's at worst a good line of support and maybe even a great one. So if you're a Super Heavy Samurai fan and you want to inform me on how on or off the mark I am here, go ahead. I'm probably going to refer to them as a bad deck in the future though. Sorry to Super Heavy Samurai fans, you just blame Konami for not giving you good cards until like 2023 by the time you get them. We're also getting support for the Amazing Defenders decks, or at the very least, 2 of them. Purrley and Minkanko both got 2 cards, and I'm going to go with the easy joke of saying we all know why the Racist deck didn't get support. This is setting up a joke. Here I wrote that they're Scientologists and don't believe in medicine or modern support. Yeah, fuck it. What? I don't get that joke. Moving on. Yugioh Umbreon. Purrley Lily is another level 1 for Purrley, who on normal or special summon will add any Purrley card from deck to the hand except for a quick play spell. So any card in the deck except for half the deck. But it'll add the EV, so we'll take it. It also can target a Purrley quick play spell in your graveyard, and then Xyz summon a monster that mentions that spell specifically from your extra deck, using Umbreon here as a material and attaching the spell to it as material as well. That is decent. That's a solid extra monster to play for the 1-for-1, and it's Umbreon. I approve with full bias, because that shit's cute as hell. Purrley Sleepy Memory is a new quick play spell that Umbreon can't fucking search, but it is an in-archetype 1-for-1, so who gives a shit? On activation, it applies its effect, and then you can choose to discard a card and summon a Purrley monster from your deck. Then, regardless of whether or not you've summoned it, you take no damage the next time you would take damage. So technically the 1-for-1 is optional and its effect is just negating damage, but it's fucking 1-for-1, so you can go ahead and guess what will be happening. And if it's a material on an Xyz monster, or a Purrley Xyz monster specifically, it'll let you draw a card during the opponent's standby phase. That's draw power and 1-for-1 in theme. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fucking playable. Just a bit. I fucking love how cute this deck is, and I like the new card. Michael fucking Lykel that deck, I tell you what. Minkanko has 2 new cards as well, and what does it say that I saw fan art of the monster before I even knew it was actually a Yu-Gi-Oh card? Thank you, Twitter. Furry the that is definitely meant to be pronounced Fury. No, fuck it, it's Furry. Furry the Orb Minkanko has the standard Minkanko effect, if I remember correctly, that while it has no equip spell attached, you take no battle damage from battles involving it, and while equipped with an equipped spell, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and the opponent will take all battle damage from its battles. This one has the unique effect that it makes all your Minkanko cards untargetable while you control an equip spell, and once per turn, when an equip spell is attached to it specifically, it'll add a Minkanko trap card from your deck to your hand. Does that seem like it's just going to be annoying to anyone else? It doesn't seem broken, don't get me wrong. It just seems like depending on the deck you're playing, it's a pain in the ass. Clearly I'm too dependent on Nightmare Unicorn, but I'm going to blame Konami for making the Nightmare package way too fucking generic. Still, almost as annoying as the people calling waifu because it's a woman. Holy shit, a female Yu-Gi-Oh card. Whoa! And there's a new Minkanko card as well. A trap card for the other monster that we just learned of to search, maybe? No, that would make sense. Konami doesn't make sense, they make dollars. Dance of the Minkanko, Fascinating Bird. What a name. This card makes the equipped monster indestructible by card effect, and after a Minkanko monster battles, it can bounce 1 card on the field to the hand at the end of the damage step. And lastly, if it is in your grave, you can target a Minkanko monster in your graveyard to summon it and then equip this card to it, but that monster will be banished when it leaves the field. Yeah, this deck just really sounds like it's going to be annoying. I almost forgot that there's a ritual monster to go along with this deck because I'm too busy being distracted by this unholy abomination that is the fusion of Gustos in 2011 and their win con of attacking into you and you taking the damage, alongside 2013 Noble Knight's ability to brick on equip spells. Konami designed it like this on purpose, by the way. There was some amount of R&D that went into it that gave us these cards. Now that is wild. Oh, and by the way, I fucking lied to you. You see, the racists are getting a card, and skipping over this terrible Scientology joke I can't believe I wrote, we'll get into their newest card in Reinforce. it's always treated as being a racist. And on activation, it can target a racist on your field and then give them 1500 attack and defense, make it unaffected by the opponent's monster effects, and the next time it will be destroyed by battle, it's not. Sure, you just make it really hard to kill it. That's what we want from firefighters. Immortality. Oh, and it also can be banished from your graveyard to target a race spell in your grave and then set it to your field. That effect can get the field spell back, and if I'm not mistaken, that field spell was decent for this deck, right? You know what's not decent, though? This motherfucker spamming Armor Lock in the card art. Come on, dude. If you're gonna get all the Halo Reach fans, all 12 of them upset in the comments. Fucking Armor Lock. Who approved that shit? And so that'll wrap it up for this week's new card report 2 Electric Boogaloo. Just covering the new cards in this one. You can check out yesterday's update here if you want to check that out, or stay tuned for this coming week's update as well, every Friday. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe for this week's update so you can impress your smoking Italian wife and so that you too can be a true duelist.